So this is my second time recording this video because the first one kept skipping and I don't know why. So hopefully we can get through this one without any skipping or craziness. We're almost done with this part of science and then we can move on. So almost all animals fall into one of two large groups. The first group is vertebrates. So vertebrates have a backbone, which is made up of many small bones that are interconnected and stacked on top of each other. So think about like our spine. The backbone helps in movement, balance, posture, shock absorption, supporting the weight of the head, and protecting the spinal cord. That's all the function that your spine does for you. Vertebrates are usually larger and have more complex bodies than invertebrates. And a lot of fewer vertebrates, or there's a lot fewer vertebrates than invertebrates. Less than 10% of all animal species have backbones, which is kind of crazy to think about. That, the vertebrates are larger, but there's less of them. So you can see in this chart here, 40% of your vertebrates are fish, 20% are reptiles, 25% are birds, 10% are mammals, and that's where we fall, and then 5% are amphibians. So we are in the mammal category, the one with the camel. So we are only 10% of vertebrates. 40%, almost half of all vertebrates are fish, which is nuts when you think about it. There's like so many fish, and only 10% of the vertebrates in the world are mammals. Then we have invertebrates. Excuse me. Invertebrates do not have a backbone. They are usually smaller and have less complex bodies than vertebrates. There's over 2 million known animal species on Earth, and over 90% of them are invertebrates. So if you're talking about 2 million, I know it says over 2 million, let's just talk about 2 million. And we want to say 90% of them, that's 1,800,000 animal species on Earth that are invertebrates. That's crazy. That's almost every animal on Earth. Like vertebrates, they can be found on land and in water in any temperature and any climate on Earth. So here's our little chart of our animal kingdom, and you can see here's our vertebrates. So these are the organisms with a backbone. Only two categories of animals are warm-blooded, birds and mammals. So this is us, meaning, while it's nice to be in the sun and to be warm, we don't need the sun for our internal body temperatures to be warm. Cold-blooded, they're fish, reptiles, and amphibians. These organisms rely on like the environment to help their body regulate their temperature. So a fish, if the water is cold, their internal temperature is going to be cold. If the water is warm, their internal temperature is going to be warm. Same with reptiles and amphibians. That's why if you've ever had like a snake or a frog or a turtle, they recommend that you get a heat lamp, because these animals are like incapable of making their own body heat. They have to rely on the sun or the temperature of the environment around them. Invertebrates, these are organisms without backbones. So this is like all of your bugs and insects, annelids, arachnids. I'm trying to read it sideways. Echinoderms, crustaceans, what is this? Cnidarians, and mollusks. It's hard to read sideways. Wow. Makes you dizzy. So here's some types of invertebrates. So you have your insects. You have ants, flies, grasshoppers, butterflies, beetles, arachnids, which are spiders, scorpions, and ticks. Remember, arachnids have 8 legs. Insects have 6, and then they have different body structures. Your annelids are your earthworms, your leeches, and your flatworms. So these guys have no legs and completely different body structure. Your echinoderms are your starfish, your sand dollar, and your sea urchins. Crustaceans, that's like your crab, your lobster, your shrimp, like shellfish, I guess you could also group in there. The cnidarians, this is jellyfish, coral, and hydra. So like, if you've seen a jellyfish before, it's just kind of like a blob. And mollusks, which are snails, slugs. And I didn't know this, but an octopus is actually a mollusk, which is kind of cool. You would think it was a fish. So let's review. What is taxonomy? So we know it's the study of the animal kingdom, or all the kingdoms, the study of life. What are the 7 characteristics of living things? What are the 5 kingdoms of living things? So this is all things that we have been working on from the beginning. And we're not going to get into all of this because we're not ready to review yet. We still want to go through these this last section here. So you're going to answer questions based on that are based on vertebrates, invertebrates, and just the animal kingdom in general. And then we will review in our next video.